let me have the privilege to start today's session. I am Dr. Srinivas Rao, the director of Firebird Business School, Coimbatore. Today, I am representing as a moderator of AIMS. And all of you know that AIMS happen to be one of the premier body consisting of 550 business school as a life members. And AIMS has been doing a great job in the academia, connecting people for the knowledge domain. And you can see that AIMS has been conducting various kinds of workshops, seminars, research work, and also funding the different business schools which are conducting various activities in the area of management development, faculty development, whether student competition, quiz competition, and also AIMS highly support the research work and with the journal and regularly connecting the people. And AIMS has got various chapters across the nation with the chairman, vice chairman, and secretary, treasurers, and all office bearers. With this kind of strategic alignment, strategic team, AIMS is now emerging as a world-class leader in providing quality business education and also integrating the efforts of all the directors, faculty members, students, putting in front of the government for new policy and new governance, and also always in the limelight for negotiating the terms and conditions which are comfortable to the students and colleges, to the AICT and UGC. And with this kind of backdrop and inspiring young minds and young leadership is a new way of educating people, and various industry people, various academic leaders all happen to be part of this program. I think myself, this is my third webinar which I'm participating as a moderator, because always I find that bringing resource people and connecting the student and faculty is a prime job of any business school head. So I feel proud and privileged under the leadership of Dr. Nandagopal, who is the president, and after his charge, everything is moving a very high speed, connecting the people and connecting the government, connecting the complete network for the great endurance. And today we have a wonderful guest, Dr. Padmakshi, who is a clinical psychologist and a medical practitioner, and she's a social worker and works on the women empowerment, and also works as a social entrepreneur, and she works very specifically on the girl child, specifically in the government schools, and also she runs few companies, and by profession she's a medical doctor and also a clinical psychologist focus specifically, and she works on the well-being of human being, particularly mental health. And today's topic is emotional well-being. And before I invite her, let me have a brief touch and tone setting on this topic. So emotional well-being is a physiological and psychological aspect of human. And today in the challenging world with such high-profile competition and kind of multicultural, cross-cultural issues, and from globalization perspective, work culture, whatever you see that having a right kind of emotional balance is very important. On this respect, we have invited today Dr. Padmakshi to deliver her experience on this. Dr. Padmakshi, we have a privilege to invite you. And the session goes with you now. And I'll have a lot of interaction with you depending on our audience, as well as also I will intervene few of the concept which is very relevant to the business school students and MBA students, maybe undergraduate and postgraduate, or maybe the directors, faculty would like to interact with you. And I'll keep open the session. And the session will go 40 minutes on your deliberation or half an hour. Based on that, further we'll have a question and answer session. And all participants are requested to follow the AIMS guidelines as it is being given, to give feedback so that they get certificate of participation. Thank you, everybody, and welcome to Dr. Padmakshi.
Good afternoon, everyone. To everybody who's actually gathered here today. That good afternoon, 3 o'clock, where you will be busy in your lifestyles. And thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much for the wonderful opportunity. I have a small story to tell you all. This happened maybe around 2 months ago. This happened in my clinic. I'm actually sitting in my clinic. Sandhya, madam, very good afternoon. There's a person who calls me and says, ma'am, I have to meet you urgently. Please give me an appointment. It was almost 3:30 in the afternoon. I said, listen, I'm actually leaving my clinic. So you please come tomorrow. But that person was like so much in panic, and he's like not at all disconnecting the call. No, ma'am, I have to meet you. I said, okay, fine. And then after he disconnected the call, my best friend called me and said, I'm sending you a person. You shouldn't even say no. I said, okay, fine, send. That was the time I was actually going for my lunch. So this person, he called around 3:30. In spite of Bangalore traffic, he just landed here by 4:15. That shows the urgency of the whole issue. And then he comes, he sat in front of me. I could see someone around 43 to 44 years old, man who was like good looking, well built, and he had come in a wonderful car. He sat in front of me. Then I asked him, how are you? And then he didn't answer. I asked him what happened. He didn't answer. He was sitting there silently, and his facial reactions actually was conveying a lot of things. I still asked him what happened. Tell me. He immediately started crying. Actually, in the society where it's always told to a man cannot cry, you're strong enough, you cannot cry. You suddenly see a man crying. Then I asked him, tell me what happened. It took him almost minimum 5 minutes to come out of his grief and his crying spells. And then he said, Doc, please help me. Otherwise, I will commit suicide. My life is devastated. I cannot do anything. This is what he said. So I said again and again, my question was just the same. He didn't even give me the right answer at all what had happened. He was like constantly telling the same thing. Oh, I did not expect my life to become like that. I did not expect my life to become like this. And then I still asked him the same thing, tell me what happened. He had been referred by my best friend, so I was giving him high priority. And then he started telling me about himself, where he says, Doctor, I had to actually celebrate my life today, but I'm sitting in front of you. I said, okay, fine. Again, my question was what happened? What happens is when patients come to us, they don't so easily open up. So it took some time for him. He said, 5 days ago, I got my promotion. Now I'm the I'm the vice president to the company which he's working. And then he has also got a hike in the salary of 40%. So his take home is per month, he's taking around 4.5 lakh rupees per month. He was taking that salary home. And then I said, this is so wonderful. This is high time we need to celebrate. He said, the issue is here. This is the time I had to celebrate. I have bought a new Mercedes-Benz car. And then I was taking it home. Suddenly I heard a sound. And then I turned back and saw. Then I realized the sound was not from the back seat. It was from the back, my back. So I immediately went to your friend. My friend is an orthopedic surgeon. And he told me, don't drive at all for the next 3 months. And this is a time I'd actually thought I'll spend with my family. I'd booked 4 tickets to Goa. And then I wanted to fly, and doctor has told me not to travel at all. And then, despite of all this, I took a assistant driver, and I went home. As soon as I went home, my wife just gave me one beautiful gift to me, which I'm unable to digest still. So I asked him, what is that? His wife said, I cannot even stay with you anymore. I'm leaving the house and going. And I'm taking the younger son also with me. And he also said he has an elder daughter who's doing her MBBS in Mumbai. And then now he says, I called my mom to be with me because doctor has told me to take rest. But my parents said, you were always busy and never gave me time. So we are not going to come to Bangalore to help you out because we don't like the pollution and the behavior of you and your children. So today, at the age of 43, I'm at home with a wonderful Mercedes-Benz car outside, and my wife is not there at home. And I called up my daughter and said, please understand. She said, you have never been a good daughter or father to me, and I don't even want you. And my son says, in my entire life, I'll never be a person like you. And today, I am just feeling very, very unhappy. I have everything. Today, I want to celebrate, but I have no one to celebrate my life. So I asked, why did this happen? With constant of probing him with questions and things like that. That's when he gave up an answer, saying he was always so busy with his work, he never gave time for family. And so much of little whatever time he gave to the family, he was so disturbed, he was so stressed out. He never gave quality time. He was always fighting with his wife. He was always angry, sad, crying spells, or sometimes you get irritated and fight with the children. So this is the type of connectivity we had with the family. And at workplace too, he was so agitated and things like that. He could not give quality time to his friends. And when his parents had asked him to come to his hometown and all, I always said, I'm busy because of my frustration, because I was unable to handle myself. This is what has happened. So he is also around somewhat little 2-3 years elder than me. When that patient came, I actually told him, I guided him, counseled him, I referred him to my husband for medicinal treatment, and it also gave him a deep relaxation therapy. And I sat down in my clinic thinking what emotions can actually do to human beings if it is not managed on the right time. And if we show our tantrums to the people who are very important to us and we just take them for granted, how horrible a life can be, I learned from that man. He is the vice president of a top shot MNC company with promotion 30% hike and a Mercedes Benz standing out. And he also have tickets to Goa, but he doesn't even have a family to celebrate with. So what happened further? There were also physical symptoms which he was seeing. He said he had severe gastritis. He was unable to go to the pass stools, even if he had this irritable bowel syndrome where they'll be having difficulty in passing stools or urination too. They'll be constantly urinating, and then even if those process happens, they'll not be comfortable. The feeling of emptiness doesn't happen, and he cannot even sleep. There is no proper digestive process happening, and then he cannot sleep properly, and the food he is eating, he's not even be able to taste it properly. He's always disturbed, irritated, getting angry, crying spells. Sometimes he does not know how to react at all, or sometimes he overreacts, he keeps yelling at people and all that stuff. These are the symptoms which he actually saw. Physically, he had symptoms because of his anger issues, because of his emotional distress, because of his instability in management of his emotions. And there were also mental health issues which were also facing. Not just that, he had issues with his family life and in professional life. So, my dear friends, I would like to ask you one thing. If at all I ask you what is very important to you in life, many people will give many answers. But what we realized, at least what I realized on that day, we are all running behind something which we cannot even see and think, oh, maybe if I get that, I will be happy. Maybe if I get this, we'll be very happy. Without even understanding our priority and without even managing our emotions properly. And expression of emotions happen in such a way that you don't even know whether it's the right or wrong. And then you have a promotion, you have a hike, but you're not able to enjoy. So what is happening? Where are we heading is the question which I was actually posing it to myself. When it comes to emotions and all that stuff, most of us know it is a kind of a complex reaction or a complex feeling which comes to all of us in different type of situations. Each person has a different type of reaction in different type of situation that can be coming from the family backgrounds. They can be having emotional instability backgrounds. They can be having family history of emotional problems. They can be having the whole judgments can be wrong because of wrong learning process, because of long teaching process, emotional instability, emotional problems. All these things can happen because of many things. There are 6 different theories which state this. Irrespective of whatever be the reason, if you have a wonderful thing in your hand and you're not at all able to enjoy life, is that worth living? My question to all of you, is this life worth living? You can even answer. Your answers are appreciated. My question to all of you have everything in your life, you have wonderful life ahead, and still you're not happy with that. Is this kind of a life worth living? Most of the answers are no itself. Well, I'm happy you're all in sync with my thought process. Beautiful. Srinivas sir, you wanted to ask me something?
Yeah, people have different versions of happiness. We need peace and happiness in life. Each of them have different versions. We need peace and happiness in life. They say that.
yeah, the question was, with this kind of a life, will you be happy? Most of them have said the answer is no. And there are also people telling happiness has its own meaning and perspective, which I'm in total echo with your answers. This is exactly what I wanted to tell you. We are people who are sitting in a place, and then you're sitting, that's all. But your mind is not there. Either it's there in your yesterday, or it's also there in your tomorrow, or your mind is thinking about somebody who's never a part of your life, or your mind is also thinking, your brain is also thinking about somebody who was toxic for your mental health. So now I want to actually give the bridge and the connectivity. Why is that we are doing it? And this is a major reason for us to be emotionally ill. The journey from the journey from illness to wellness is only one single word. It's absolutely dependent on that letter. That letter is I. It's absolutely dependent on us. My journey of wellness, my journey of well-being, my journey of emotional well-being. But what happens? We are all sitting in a place and thinking about my yesterday. Oh, that day, yesterday was so wonderful. But in the yesterday also, were you happy? We don't know. And then you're sitting here and thinking about your tomorrow. Or tomorrow, it's like that. Tomorrow, I hope I will get this to be happy. When you get that, will you be happy? As you all mentioned, happiness is an absolutely subjective parameter. It depends on an individual. But when you're always looking for something outside and you're not able to enjoy what you already have, trust me, most of us cannot be happy. 95% of us cannot be happy. I would like to also give you a statistics for especially management professionals. 68% of management professionals across the globe are facing mental health issues. Mental health issues can be stress, it can be depression, it can be anxiety. Many of them have suicidal ideas. People have alcohol dependence. There are many people suffering from schizophrenia, addictions, different types of addictions, including mobile phone addictions. And most of the people here in the 68%, which I mentioned, most of them have troubled family marriage problems, marital issues, and having problems dealing with themselves as well as their families. This is what is a very scary statistics. There is the zamana where there was never a problem with knowledge. We have every possible knowledge, but what happened? We were not in a position to inculcate that kind of knowledge into our lives. Because I was just going through the statistics. When I saw it 68%, it's more than, above average. 68% population earning very high money, high numbers. They are like connected so well with the society, and all of them have depression and suicides. That means it is like ticking time bombs. You never know what are the decisions they can take any point of time. Any given point of time, they can take negative type of decisions. So this is a high time we address about it. When people tell me mental health, it's the most spoken subject. But how much is done about it? How much has people invested on their emotional well-being? I already mentioned emotion for me is energy in motion. Energy most of the time will be negative energy. Negative energy in the form of sadness, in the form of frustrations, in the form of irritabilities, confusions, and stuff like that. Let me tell you, if I have to ask you, do you know the number of different emotions a human being faces? There are hundreds, thousands of different type of emotions every human being faces. But if you have to just categorize into two categories, it can be primary type of emotions or secondary type of emotions. Primary emotions as the happiness, sadness, and confusion, surprising. These are the primary emotions. And then later on, the emotions and feelings and reactions which stem out from the primary emotions are the secondary ones. So we all actually don't even understand what emotion is all about. If somebody says, I'm emotional, when people refer to I'm emotional, most of them feel emotional means I am disturbed, I am sad, I am teary eyed. That is not emotion. Emotion means a feeling. You can be happy, you can be confused, you can be irritated, you can be sad, you can be angry. These are all emotions. So we need to understand this very, very clearly. There are different types of emotions, and being happy also is a type of an emotion. When you tell people, see, you need to control emotions. They'll say, oh, I have to control my anger. Oh, I have to control my sadness. It is not like that. You need to control your emotions in order to control your stress, to understand your stress, to lead a happier life. When I already told you, stress is our reaction which we see in any type of a situation. For this, I can tell you a very nice example. If a snake comes in a room, which you're all sitting, there are 10 people sitting in the room, and there's a snake coming. The snake comes there. So what happens? This one person probably will be screaming. That's all. Then another person will faint. Then one more person will jump over the table and like, oh, and all that stuff. And there are a few others will feel, oh, let us try to check whether it's a real snake or not. That could be also a reaction. Some of them will say, oh, it's just an animal, just forget it. The snake won't do anything. Somebody will say, let me Google about snake, whether this is a poisonous snake or not, and all that stuff. Each person's reaction will be different. But what happens? Majority react in their past experiences when they would have heard that, oh, snake is poisonous. If there's a snake bite happens, we will die. Snake bites will cause a problem. If you see a snake, it's a problem. All these things, all our kind of reactions and emotions stem out from our past experiences, learning behaviors, what we have understood from our family backgrounds, or even our personal experiences, or the thought process we go through, or even the anxiety which we understand. This is the kind of reaction which is happening to the same stimulus. There is a snake there, which can be venomous, which can be poisonous, which cannot be also. We don't know anything. So there are hundreds of different of reactions a person gives. So this is exactly how your brain has emotions. So there are so many reactions which we give to different situations. There are so many people who cry in happy situations. They'll say it's Ananda Bashpa. So it's basically they don't know how to react. So they will say, I'm stressing, I'm shedding tears due to happiness too. So we have to understand, if somebody says, oh, emotions is somewhere else, no, nothing like that. Emotion is something which stems out from the limbic system of the brain. Limbic system, they say you need to enlighten. I couldn't read the message, you need to tell me. Yeah, the emotions which is seen in ourselves, it is something which arises from the limbic system of the brain. It is in the brain. If somebody says, oh, it is not there with us, we cannot even control, it is not like that. You can definitely control your negative emotions. It is through proper channelization and proper maintenance, or proper understanding of the whole process. We spoke about emotions. When you're speaking about emotions, when there are negative emotions, you're unable to deal with life. You see life in a very different way. There are people who talk about negativity. There are people who always tell me, doctor, whatever this is, I feel like dying. I don't even feel like surviving. I was surprised to see the statistics which we just received from NIMANS 2 months ago. 22,000 students in the country have committed suicide this year statistics. The previous year statistics says 18,000 students from across the country have committed suicide, and across the globe it is 8.5 lakh people who have committed suicide across the globe. And then, so one thing we understood from the past 2 years of statistics, everybody said students commit suicide because of failure of examination. But the 2 years of Corona time, there was no examination at all. But still, there were suicides. And then again, there was a study, extensive study which happened. And we understood all these people who had committed suicide across the globe and the country, the students, the numbers which I just mentioned, that was all due to the fear of failure of relationships, and also the fear and failure that I don't have anybody. I don't have anybody to share what I know. I don't have anybody to express what I'm feeling. I don't have anybody to understand me the way I am. There's a child who came to me, a 10-year-old child, a month ago, and I was surprised with the language as well as the way it communicated something to me. The child told me, doctor, I don't have anybody to understand me the way I want them to understand. A 10-year-old child says this to me, which was like actually scary. So I asked the child, what about your parents? No, my parents don't even understand me. They want me to understand them. So there is a lot of things happening. There's a lot of jugglery of emotions. There are a lot of disturbances which emotions happening. When a 10-year-old can actually want privacy, the 10-year-old want understanding, the 10-year-old wants to be understood, means the 10-year-old too has something to say. But what do we say? Your children, they don't understand something. Children, they don't even follow something. Children, they don't have anything to tell. That's how we actually ignored most of it. And that is the reason there was increase in suicide rates during Corona and post-Corona. So, my dear friends, I would like to tell you this thing very, very seriously. Next time somebody tells you, I want to talk to you, nobody wants thousands of rupees. They just want 2 years of yours. That is very, very important. Where most of us don't even have to give. We'll say, I am busy. Then something goes wrong with them. That's when we come and say, oh, yo, they were sitting next to me. Just yesterday, he was sitting next to me. Wished I would have listened to him or something like that. Before there is a problem happening, it's always high time we lend our 2 years and listen to their problem. Most of the problems don't need any solutions to be given. Most of the problems just need ears to be listened to. Because most of the people who are emotionally distressed are always in the field that they don't have anybody to share their happiness, to share their sadness, to share their confusions. When the child goes to a parent, sometimes parents don't know what they say. They'll say, get lost, man. You can't even understand. You're a child. Or they tell this because of their inadequacy, they cannot deal with it. So instead of that, sit and listen to a child. Your child is trying to communicate something with you. When you are only going to listen itself, half the problems are going to be solved. So from emotions where it cannot be managed, which will lead to illness. When it leads to illness, I told you a lot of physical symptoms are seen like gastritis, blurring of the vision, headaches, body aches, back aches, neck pain, difficulty in passing stools, difficulty in urination, and hair fall, under eye problems, difficulty in moving. You cannot even walk for long distances. You feel your hand is shivering. You feel you cannot even do small activities. You feel very tired. You feel you cannot even communicate with somebody. You feel you want a lot of rest. You feel tired and stuff like that. These are the physical symptoms which you'll be seeing. And then you can see the psychological issues most of them complain of. Doctor, I just cannot even concentrate on anything. My attention span is reduced. I get irritated very soon. If anybody talks to me, I don't even feel like answering. If somebody asks me something, I get agitated. I am not at all enjoying things which I used to enjoy before. I get frustrated, disturbed. I'm not at all able to carry out good conversations. My decision making has a problem. Before I should take the right decision, sometimes my decisions at workplace is hampered. When I'm driving, I'm thinking about unwanted things. When I'm in the office, I'm thinking about my family. When I'm with my family, I'm thinking about my office. When I'm on the road, I'm thinking about something else. And then I actually feel like getting into a lot of unwanted activities, which I can tell you, like drinking, fagging, or even drugs. And then most of the people also say we're addicted to our mobile phones so much that we are unable to give time for the families. And these are the mental health issues. And now coming to the emotions, when they are affected, the emotional problems an individual faces, they're unable to communicate with their own family members. They feel helpless in their own houses. They feel caught up in their own life. They feel somebody has locked them up in something. They feel they cannot even talk to somebody. They feel their own wife, their own husband, their own mother, the father, the brother, their own best friend are all spying against them. They're not at all helping me. They're not making me feel suppressed. They're making me feel helpless. And these are the emotional disturbances they feel. Emotions, when they are disturbed in an individual, it is just not that it's going to only affect the person. It's not only going to affect the family. It is also going to affect the society because of abnormal decisions they take, because of the accidents which can be happening, because of their disturbed state of mind. It can be also due to a lot of other things they will do. They may reach home, they may do partying late, they may disturb the neighbor. There are a lot of issues a person will actually create. They can be creating ruckus in everybody's life. This is all the issues we'll be seeing in the society. And also as a large, they're going to be wrong examples to people. When they feel, oh God, I cannot do anything. The most of the people feel frustrated, and the only thing they can think of is committing suicide. So committing suicide is definitely not an end to any problems, and they are definitely going to be a wrong example to the society. But what happens, most of them think, oh, that person committed suicide and all his problems came to an end. So they are going to be wrong examples to society. That is the reason when we're talking so much about emotions and emotional disturbances and emotional illness. So we need to talk about emotional wellness. Just imagine you are going to lead a simple life, and with whatever you have, you are happy. You're going to feel, yes, I'm happy and contented. So you're going to enjoy whatever's there around you. But when you're disturbed, all these things happen. So this is the only journey from illness to wellness, which is absolutely dependent on that one single person, that is you. So how do we achieve this emotional well-being or emotional wellness? That is absolutely by one simple technique and process called mindfulness. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is a process of understanding what is happening to you, understanding your stressors, and also correcting it and living a happy life. So the first and foremost thing for mindfulness, what you have to do is, when you're frustrated, please talk about your issues to people. And also, most important thing, please understand karma comes back. When somebody talks to you and tell them more innermost feelings, you are not going to bitch about it, you're not going to gossip about it and tell it to the world. That's very, very important. So when you are in distress, somebody else also can do the same thing to you. So when somebody trusts you and talks to you, it's time that you actually help them. And most important thing, ask help, seek help. Many people feel no one can help me and they feel trapped. Please ask for help and also take professional help, because you are yourself not able to deal with these kind of things. And then mindfulness, most important, live in the present. Living in the present, enjoying your present is very, very, very important. See, from the path of frustration to the path of fulfillment, we have to understand this whole path is discovered, and that path is called the process of mindfulness. The process of mindfulness, live in the present. When you're living in the present means when you're eating your food, completely concentrate on your food. Don't think, oh, what if I don't get my food later, or what if I get diabetes if I eat like that. No, don't think about the future, don't think about the past. Live in your present. Enjoy every moment. When we are with the family, give time for your family. When you're eating food, chew it very well, swallow it very well, absorb it very well, enjoy it very well, and eat it with the people whom you love. That is where mindfulness comes into action. And then there is this small device which people assume that is giving them the best happiness of the world. Trust me, if the device stops working, suddenly you will feel there is nothing around me. No, that's when you start thinking about the world. So most of the people are feeling trapped because they're so lost in social media. They're so lost in comparisons. They're so lost in comparing themselves with others. They're so lost in so many things which are not useful at all, that we all think, oh, that person is flourishing. Instead of thinking or feeling, why is that person flourishing? Let us start questioning, what should I do for flourishment? So that is what is very, very important for flourishing. So you need to start working on it. Stop complaining. Life has just given us one life to live. Instead of living a life of complaints, live a life of non-regrets. Live it in happiness, live it in peace, so that you can control yourself, control your emotions, manage your emotions very, very well, manage your anger very well, manage your stress very well, so that you can live a happy, contented life. So for that, practice meditation. Meditation is very, very important. It's from across the globe. You talk to anybody, any religion, any books actually tells you, keep connected with yourself. That happens only through meditation. Each one gives a different names, but meditation is like sitting in silence in such a way that you try to understand the issues with you, and also controlling your emotions like anger and sadness and all that. You need to manage it very, very well. You also need to understand your priorities. If I'm going to be angry with this person, will I regain the relationship back? That's how you should think before expression of those angers. And also ask for help, which I already mentioned. Don't feel shy. People will say, oh, what if they think about me? They feel very shy about expression of their emotions. There is nothing like somebody is going to talk, what if they think about me? This is the world which is going to talk negativity about you even if you survive. It's the same world which is going to talk about you even if you don't survive. So their opinions should not be mattering to us at all. So start talking openly than instead of feeling shy. Talk about your emotions very openly. Practice the habit of reading books. But what happened now? Our before our concentration power was 20 minutes. Today it is reduced to 20 seconds. That is the reason these YouTube shorts have become so very famous. I tell people, for a 20-year-old child, in 20 years, what your parents could not teach you, do you think a 20-second YouTube video can teach you, YouTube short can teach you? That doesn't happen at all. We are like so looking for entertainment constantly. We are so lost. We don't even get any messages at all. So practice this whole process of reading books, reading a page slowly increases your concentration. That's very, very important. Self affirmations. Every day tell yourself, yes, I am very good. I can do something. My life is very beautiful. Instead of criticizing yourself, self criticization, criticizing the others, comparisons, and all that stuff. Self affirmation, telling yourself, I am the best. I'm going to do my best, irrespective of whatever it is. I am going to survive. That is what you need to constantly tell yourself. If you need it a 3 times dosage in a day, give it 3 times the dose. If you need it once and you're okay with that, once is okay. There are many people who ask me how many times a day. Self-affirmation, the more you give, the more you feel better. And also positivity, very, very important. Karma never loses its address. That we have to understand very, very clearly. You talk negative about other people and you cannot expect good things to happen to you. So you need to be very positive, talk positive about yourself, the nature, the world, and people around you. That's when positivity comes back to you, because nature will make you receive all those things which you're thinking of it positively. Learn every day a new thing, because nature does not stop teaching. So we need to learn every day, because learning is which gives us an absolute relaxation to the brain. When the brain is completely relaxed, every emotion is well accepted, and every negative emotion can be converted into a positive emotion. So whatever it is, my dear friends who are actually listening to me, thank you all for your patient listening. But I would like to tell you one thing: whatever happens, keep smiling, because we have one life to live. And keep smiling for one more reason, because how much ever you smile, that is that type of an amrut which will never be over at all. This is something like that's constantly getting regenerated and regenerated. So the more you smile, the more happy hormones will be liberated in the brain. Happy hormones like endorphins, which is dopamine and serotonin. The more happier you are, the more satisfied you are. These hormones will be produced in the brain, which will make you very physically healthy and mentally healthy too. And most important thing, this is something which I request everyone to do. I'm not asking you to do big things. It is one small thing. Whatever it is, listen to me carefully. We'll all rest in peace one day. We'll all rest in peace one day. Before that day, let us all live in peace. For living in peace, we need to sleep in peace. So every day, sleep in peace. For sleeping in peace every day, we need to actually be happy as well as satisfied. When will we be happy? If I do whatever which gives me happiness, I eat food and be happy. And also give food or give smile to somebody who does not have it in life. That's when you're going to be satisfied. For sleeping in life, peace, you need to be satisfied in life. So because when you sleep peacefully, hormone called melatonin will be secreted in the brain, which is absolutely required and responsible for a complete, good, healthy brain and the body. It increases your immunity, it increases the health, it increases every positivity thought process in your brain, and also regulates the body activity very well. So this is what I wanted to actually tell about emotions, emotional well-being, illness, as well as wellness. The journey from year to year is actually a very short if it is traversed very well. It's the longest if at all you don't travel properly. So travel this journey of wellness very well with the people whom you love, and love yourself is the most important. That's when the whole beauty of life can be seen. Love yourself, love the people around you, so the illness becomes wellness. Thank you so much for your patient listening, and thank you for the opportunity. Over to you, sir. Any questions?
Yes, doctor. It was a long and wonderful non-stop session. As a doctor, a lot of complex things you have been explaining, and the problems which you face with your patient. You are trying to solve those things. It's really a wonderful deliberation by you. And there are a few questions are there. I'll be taking those questions along with your answers, and also I'll try to interact with you on the subject a little more in deeper. Which because we are not all medicos, some of the medical science parts may not be normally understood by common man. So I'll take in a lighter way of all these concepts. Now, one gentleman asked, can you please enlighten us on the way forward? On the way forwards, going, moving forward. See, normally problems happens. People hang over on the problems. People are possessive on the past. People are possessive on the future. So whenever a person gets stuck, definitely, his emotions are also stuck. And today in the world, we cannot say the honor of everything. We have to move forward. So maybe this question is towards that only. Can you please enlighten us on the way forward?
Sure, sir. I would appreciate the question. Looking forward, way forward, what happens is most of us, I don't say one person, most of us are stuck with our past experiences. We are always thinking, oh, that particular thing happened to me. This particular stuff happened to me. Uh, I don't think life is going to be fine because we are always interacting in such a way negatively to people around us. We are so stuck in those thought process. The exact word people will say is, I'm so locked up in my life. I'm locked up in my brain. So they're so locked up in their thought process. They're so stuck over there. They don't take it forward. And if you have to take it forward, it involves a lot of hard work. What do people do? If example, if you have to take an example of weight loss, everybody is talking about weight loss. Oh, I need to do some weight loss so that I will lose weight, I will be healthy, my diabetes levels comes down. They're only talking, and the next day they don't do anything about it. And again, they go and tell a friend, whatever I do, my weight is not reduced. So I ask such patients, what exactly did you do? They'll sit back and think and say, oh, nothing. I was only thinking about it. So by being there and not doing anything, there will be nothing in progression. So you need to take slowly, one by one, small steps towards a progressive life. Once you're stuck in a part of a thought process, it is like you feel so helpless and you feel the world around you is closed. You cannot see anything. So it is always better to go and interact with people, with intellectuals, with your professors, your friends, your family. You can also go to doctors. They will be making you understand that you're stuck and it's high time to come out of it. Many people know it, they're stuck, but they want an authority, an external agent to come and tell that. They want people to listen so that they can take it further. If at all the next time you feel, I'm so stuck with my old thought process, it's high time you have to break it. See, once the egg breaks from inside, life happens. But what happens when the egg breaks from my outside? The life ends. So what you are doing is putting external pressure onto the brain. And so the egg will break. That means the wonderful life will break. What you need to do is put yourself positive thought process of inside so that you will evolve as a very stronger person. That is very, very important. So when you feel you're stuck with your old thought process or old failure or an old broken relationship or old thought or anything, it's high time you tell yourself it is not worth it. What I was telling you is when you're lost or locked up in your thought process, it's high time you start telling yourself that I have to come out of it. Instead of only talking about it and being there, you need to work on it and come out of there. Once you come out of it, you will be able to see a better life. So that is something which you need to understand on a very, very positive note. What happens? Everybody wants to talk about it. They want sympathy about it. It is not that sympathy. How much ever you give, it will not be enough. So more and more sympathy you give, they'll only be there. So we need to tell people that you need to come out of their old thought process. Some people have negative thought process. Some people have disturbing thought process. Some people have disruptive thought process, or they have very wrong experiences from the past. They'll only be talking about it. Oh, that happened to me. The next time I do something, the same thing might happen. So we need to get people out of this locked up thought process.
Next question is from Dr. Zamir. Spiritual leaders said, if you are disturbed and you are disturbed, then do praise and remember God, then you will get peace. What is your opinion about it?
Yeah, we are always grown up with the thought process, irrespective of whatever religion it is. We all have our own spiritual gurus or spiritual masters. So We tell that so that it reduces the anxiety level of an individual. There's a saying, you put your whole thought process on God and start your activities. So what happens? The anxiety level in you reduces when you do that. Oh, you'll feel okay. Now I'm going to do my best. God will take care of the rest. That is actually a type of a psychotherapy which has been done from ages for every individual. And it is not at all wrong. Any thought process of yours, any master, any spiritual master, even it could be your own parents, it could be your own leaders, your teachers, you please understand the learnings and just taking it forward, relax and start working. It will give you huge relaxation. So the more disturbed state of mind you have, you will feel better. That's a good thought process. All of us sit and think, why so many of us think, why do only some people achieve their goal and others cannot? We all be thinking, oh, that person could do this person could not do it, and all that stuff. Maybe I am not a person who's successful. She is a successful material, or he is a successful personality, and all that stuff. It is answer is very simple when we ask. The answer is simply because your dreams, you are having a dream and you dream of having a better life. So that is all the positivity which matters a lot. When you think that way, oh yes, I have to do something, that's when you start acting. When your thought process itself is like you're telling yourself, oh, I can't do anything. Oh, I will not be doing it properly. I'm not structured to do it that way. I'm not built to become successful. The way kind of people look at things, they themselves also get locking themselves. It's nobody, not an external agent who's actually doing it. It is individuals who are not doing it. It is individuals who are not giving time. But when the question is, who stopped you? Nobody stopped you. If at all any source which has stopped you, it is your own self. So the next time you feel you could not achieve your dreams, the next time you feel you could not be happy, that is all because from the reason is it was you, yourself, and you did not allow your dream to turn into a reality because you didn't realize it and start working on it. If somebody has achieved their dreams because they realized it and they worked on it, and that's how universe took them forward. Universe, nature, people help those who help themselves. Nobody will help those who are just sitting back and cribbing. So it's high time you realize and start walking on the path of success, because mental well-being or emotional well-being or mental health is the journey you travel and not the destination you reach. You cannot tell yourself, I will celebrate my life once I go reach the journey there. It is like every day you need to celebrate and reach your destination. That's how you will enjoy your life. You'll enjoy the beauty of life. You'll celebrate life, because life is everyday celebration. To celebrate your life with the people whom you know, the people you're best. See, you get an award. To award ceremony, when you're hearing the clapping of the whole world, you expect your family to be there. The whole world will be clapping for you. Yeah, you'll feel happy. But the one whom you loved, you want them to be. That is the importance of a person for your emotional well-being. So that means the person is the right person. They're not toxic people for your emotional wellness. Try to cling on to all those people who are positive for your emotional well-being. That is very, very important. And then if you have toxic people around you, it's high time you cut them out of your life. How will you identify toxic people? Example, you get a telephone call from somebody. 2 minutes, maximum 3 minutes after the telephone call, you feel so irritated, agitated. You don't even feel like talking to them. In every single word of them, they're taunting you, they're troubling you. After the call, you feel, why the hell I spoke to that person? Was it really necessary to speak to the person? That means you are in a toxic relationship. That person is toxic to your mental health. So it is always better to cut off these toxic people from your life so that you will be really mentally sane. That's very, very important. So if they're your family members, so you just cannot cut it. It's always better to choose to be away from such toxic people so that you will be really, really positive in life and really healthy. So you asked me how you can be connected. You can connect with me on my telephone number. That is 9986000166. Sandhya Madam, you're welcome. You can also connect with me on my social media handles, Padmakshi Lokesh. And I would like to also tell you one more thing. I have a huge desire for addressing 5 lakh people on this issue of mental wellness. 5 lakh people. So in that journey, I finished 2.5 lakh people, another 2.5 lakh to go. I sincerely request you all to support me so that I address the rest 2.5 lakh. My desire is, even if I reduce the suicide rates by 0.1%, I'll be very, very happy, because even my resting in peace also should be very nice. I want to sleep in peace. The small example I'll give you. You have 2 ice creams. You eat one, you're happy. You eat the second one, it's extra calories. If the same thing you give that ice cream to somebody who's never had it, you will feel satisfied because you got smile on somebody else's face. So living this satisfied life is actually which matters the most. So you decide what. Yeah. Anyone else has anything to ask, or you have anything to share? Sir, thank you so much. I need to tell you, you all been such wonderful audience. It was lovely interacting with all of you. To be in personal in your college campus to address your students or even the staff or anyone. We'll connect and take it forward. By getting a smile on somebody else's face, maybe our emotional well-being might get better.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much for your wonderful session. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks to everybody.